Welcome to Can Angels Fly? I'm Nancy, and tonight I'm here to share my Wonderland. Yeah, I guess that's what it would be considered, my Wonderland. What do I mean when I say my Wonderland? It is my awareness of past lives, and I've come to understand that I knew of the past lives my whole life, but I did not know what they were. Let me expound upon that statement and share maybe how I gained clarity about the situation. I'm 47 years old now. When I was a little thing, as far back as I can remember, I would have dreams. And these dreams followed me throughout my life. All of them, each of them. And it wasn't until the last year or so I got really irritated with the dreams. Really irritated. And so I've shared here on YouTube before that when I dream, I can control, the environment in many of my dreams, especially those that have more to do with the present. Somewhat those that obviously were from the past, like past reflections. So it was not that I could control. Well, to some degree I could, but for the most part, they've already been lived out. So it was a review, like watching a movie. TMI. As I was coming up, I used to tell my mom, she like, Nancy, you're weird. So I said, Ma, I feel old, O-L-D, sick. I feel old sick. And she's like, what do you mean, Nancy? And mind you, I'm little coming up saying this. I said, I feel like I've been here before. I didn't did this before. Our level of consciousness has changed through the years. I'm 47 years old. So as I'm reflecting back upon my early years and the things I used to say to my mom, which seemed quite strange, I finally came to understand, just recently, that meant something. That meant something. These dreams have continued to come. So often down through the years that as I've gotten older in the last few years, since my consciousness has expanded, I'm like, okay, Nancy, for now, you have somewhat control in your dreams. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's taking place in these dreams. They're getting on your nerves. A few years back, my family had a big major experience. I shared it here on YouTube. I think the video here is on YouTube, on my channel, is called The Veil is Thinning. And what I shared was this. Remember, YouTube got rid of his video editor, so we got to roughhouse it. Anyway, this was the image I shared on YouTube. Hopefully you can see it. One day, I don't remember what day of the week it was. It was probably either Saturday or Sunday. My son's wife, my daughter-in-law, said, Mom, I'm making breakfast for the whole family. And she makes breakfast. And in the other video where I shared that experience, I break everything down to the fine details. When she flips the last pancake, this is the image on it. Now, there's another image associated with this particular pancake that is sitting on a little cartoon plate, as you can see. When changing the exposures, it exposed something else. Hopefully I remember to talk about it. And the reason why I bring this pancake up is because this pancake too has to do with my wonderland and my past lives. You say, how do you know that, Nancy? Well, the day of the experience, I knew. I didn't say anything, not even on YouTube. What I said for YouTube is, hey, I'm going to come back. I may come back and tell y'all what I know, what I saw. In that video, I shared that this pancake right here, the image that you see, I think you should be able to see, young lady. This pancake was moving and morphing, and it told a story, is what I shared on YouTube. I kind of just shared the different little things I saw, but I didn't say exactly what the story was. It was a story of my past lives. But it was interesting that it was my daughter-in-law that was cooking the meal and not myself. This last pancake, she flipped over stacked pancakes, that this image was there on this pancake. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my wonderland, my past lives. Now that I can see, it makes sense to me. And I'll talk about also, I find interesting, some of the portals I remember. I remember the portals. Portals too. Remember, our portal here is our mother's womb, and our portal out is death and into the ground, or crematorium, whatever you go, however you choose to go out. Some early dreams. When I was real little, I was born in 1970. So by 74, 5, 6, 7, 8, and upwards, I would dream of what we now know as binary codes, the zeros and ones running. Would drive me up the wall when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God. My mind would never, ever shut off. And so this went on for years and years and years. This was one of the chronic dreams. And I used to tell my mama, I'm tired. Well, Nancy, go to sleep. And so, why don't you stay asleep? I said, I'm tired. I said, I keep dreaming of all these numbers. You have to remember, this is prior to our awareness of computers and how they ran, which I still don't know exactly how it runs, behind the scenes, but the zeros and ones. The whole dream scene would be zeros and ones running. Could you imagine that from a little girl? And so I would wake up because I would be wore out. My brain never shut down. I didn't know what those numbers were until computers hit the scene. The very first computers, like in the late 70s, early 80s, I'll say. Then boom, it made sense. But I still didn't associate it with, past lives or my existence. I was like, oh, wow, that's what that was. But no further thought. Now, mind you, every dream that I share with you, it has been reoccurring my whole life, even up to recently. Till I said enough is enough. No more. No more. Another dream, another part of my wonderland is there, just imagine, entering a school door. And as you enter the school corridor, once you step over into the school, you have the hallways that branch forward and to the left, in the case of my dream. There's a classroom to the right. As you move forward, the corner wall adjacent from the entry that I was moving through, well, not even I was moving through, but this is the layout, is the actual center wall of the school. the corner, you know. And on that corner wall was this little square box. Today, I can say that little square box can represent one or two things. It can represent the old time milk door where the milkman would come open it up and set the milk in the window for people to, get, and the people leave the money in there, you take it. It can mean that. Or it can represent, catch this, an electrical box right there against that wall. Of course, it has a door or a plate on it. That door was a portal in which I obviously lived, was birthed, or died, and died out of it. Going into this door, I'm going to take you into this door. Ride the wave with me. This is my Wonderland. This is Nanci's Wonderland. Now, before I finish talking about these dreams, it's a feature of existence I want you to be aware of as we go through my Wonderland, is that without reflective surfaces, like mirrors or me recording myself in a video, I can look at the screen and see myself. You don't know how you look. We just live in a time and in a realm that you can turn and look in the mirror, and get everything in order. It is a time when you can take selfies and look at yourself instantly. But imagine a world in which you can't see yourself. All you can do is experience the world through your two eyes. That's it. You can see everything else around you, a whole 360, but you can't see yourself. So imagine as we're walking through my Wonderland, I'm not outside, at least now, experiencing myself from a third party perspective. Third party. Me, you, another. Okay, yeah. I'm experiencing my worlds, these wonderlands, through my own eyes. So let's move forward. Let's open this little door in the wall of this school. I don't want to talk about the school yet. We'll come back to that. So we go into this little door, and inside the door, I want to see if you can catch it, if you can guess what I might have been. I'm not even sure. Again, I'm looking through my eyes. I can't see my physical vessel at the time. But I remember these, what I thought were roads when I was growing up. Thin roads, like you got to walk a tight line. And then I remember as I would walk these tight lines, once I got into the door, the birthing process, I would walk these tight lines. And then all of a sudden, horizontal, crossing it, would be these like railroad tracks. And you had to be so careful on these railroad tracks because there was so much traffic on those railroad tracks, but those railroad tracks were the only thing to travel. And it was a lot of coming and going, moving back and forth, carrying stuff, Now, I remember, I haven't had this dream in a while, maybe a couple of years. I don't even know, a year or so ago. I don't really remember what was all up through there, but I remember ups and downs, still like roads, up and down, tracks, traffic, a bunch of movement. I can't see myself. I can see others. How did they look? I don't recall. I just remember coming and going, some conversations held. But it was that last time coming out of that dimension, that world, that life experience. I remember being like in a boxcar kind of thing, moving along so far as I could go in like that boxcar or stacked up or something, and getting to the railroad tracks. Now I have to cross the railroad tracks. I have to really some I have to cross, some I have to walk. You got to be so careful because there's so much going on. You know, it'll come out it will come, the train or whatever it was will come so quick. You know, you had to be ready. You know, they would switch tracks. It was like really no order, no traffic order. You know. And so I'm going along the railroad tracks, and a train come out to hop over here, and whoever with me got to hop over there, you know. Or anyway, I just remember getting the heck up out of there. I was like, I'm tired of it. Enough is enough. And it was like this dirty, dusty, dim lit place. The whole place, dusty, dirty, dim lit place. And then after I got over the railroad tracks, like, man, I'm getting up out of here. I walked the tightrope up out of it, out of that dimension, that life experience, out that door and back into the school. Now, the school has something to do with even now, my life now. I've been to, many like elementary schools and middle schools in my community. And I remember I would walk into the door and feel that old sick, like, flashback. And my eye was always drawn to that corner of the wall because I had been dreaming about it for years. To the right is the classroom, and about 25 feet forward to the right is the office. But it's when I first into the school's corridor, that the adjacent wall on that corner is where the door was in the past life. Interesting thing, of course, the door does not exist there in the school today. Not that during the course of my life, not today, but during the course of my life. But it was the setup of the actual building going into it would cause me to reflect upon that doorway right there, that little window, that little box, little opening, little panel. What was that I was experiencing in that little panel? It was just the other day I realized I never saw me. I only had the consciousness of me, the consciousness that I'm walking along these tracks. I'm tightrope walking. Is dim, is dusty. And so I was like, why was I in a wall? Why was I in a wall? And the wall was a whole world, a whole entire insane world. Did you guess what I might be? Was I once a roach? Was I once a mouse or something like that? Because you've heard of different little rodents. They be in the walls and they climb along what? The electrical wires. Stuff like that. It was a whole world back there. Okay. Now remember, you're in Nanci's Wonderland. Like Alice in Wonderland. You're in Nanci's Wonderland. Past life experiences. And what I need you to understand as we progress is that for the most part, I didn't see me. I'm seeing and experiencing the environment, and these are real worlds. When it came to the dream where I used to dream with the binary code numbers up and I was a part of those numbers. My consciousness was a part of those numbers. What else can I say? Like we sleep, we shut down to reboot. It was no rebooting during that experience. I was binary numbers. And I ran, and my consciousness ran within those numbers. That was another past life experience. Remember, you're in Nanci's Wonderland. Let's see. It's another dream I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share them in a particular order. Well, I guess I'll go to the dream that, gosh dang it. What was the other dream? It was me being the wall. Oh. It's this other dream. And I haven't had that one in a while. I did. I had it the other day. And I was like, nope, no more. Enough. And I haven't figured out exactly what it is or what it was. It was another world. And I just remember, what we call it? Was it vertical? Up and down, up and down. Staircases, metal staircases. Like you see, Jacob's ladder would just hang, just hang. And so it's these staircases along the walls. And then, I remember the other one, spaced out. They were everywhere. These staircases, people standing in line on these staircases. When I had the dream the other night, I heard we were all standing in line, moving up, some moving down, just standing in line. I mean, super long lines. I'm talking about ladders or stairways, metal stairways, like skeleton metal stairways that rose up and you couldn't even see the end of them, went down and you couldn't even see the end of them. And people standing in line, standing in line, standing in line, standing in line. And I remember this person just kind of joking. Now, this person was in human form. They seem to be somewhat like, possibly the other night, like an African. But you got to remember, I've been in these lines many times before in my dream world since I've been in this realm. And so at the time, I'm starting to pay attention in my dream, like, okay, been here before, been here, done this, irritated with it, turn it. So I say, I'm starting to look around to kind of take note. But it was near the end of the dream. It was almost like I woke myself up. I was starting to wake myself up out of the dream. The dream didn't want to be evaluated or something. But this, I think it was an African man or something similar. Something similar when you think of an African type male. And all of these people, it's just people everywhere. But that which was standing near me was making a joke. Talking about, like for instance, say there was a musician on another staircase in the distance or something, and they might have been like blowing their saxophone or something. And the person in me made a statement, like, dang, they jazzy, they got this or this, that. And, just making small talk in line because it's such a long line. And somebody falls over the rails. And when they fell over the rail, I was like, oh, no. Enough is enough. I can't be having dreams where it's line after line of people ascending, descending, and, making small talk. The line is incredible. We're on this thin staircases. They're everywhere, up and down, and people falling over it. And, so in my dream, I'm like, every time I come here, somebody's falling over. Somebody's climbing up, falling over, all this kind of stuff. Again, I haven't made sense of the dream. But what were we standing in line for? I have yet to gain clarity on it. Might be a dream I need to visit once again. So I might go back there, y'all, when permitted to. Another dream I've had so often. Let's see if you can guess who I was in this world, in that past life, in my wonderland. It was I don't know if you've seen this movie. It's called World War Z. I think it was with Brad Pitt, and it's a zombie movie. Anyway, he goes, I think, to Jerusalem after the zombie outbreak. And Jerusalem is prepared. They've built high walls, enclosed the city. And in order to get into the city, you got to pass through these gates and be, evaluated to make sure you don't have the zombie outbreak virus. And when I saw that movie, flashback, I was like, oh man, I had been, talking about the dream before to people because it's been reoccurring. I'm 47 years old. I'm talking about something that's frequent. So I'm like, that's them gates. That is those gates. We always had to pass through those damn gates. And So if you get a chance, look at the movie when the people going through the gates, they all tight and they going through these gates, the gates closed in all the way around, and the people looking around in confusion, same thing. And so I remember this is a reoccurring dream. It happens in different spots during the scene, during the experience. Once, even though it happened many times, moving through the gates with the confusion, looking around, tight between people. I can't see me because I am me. I'm looking through my eyes. I'm looking at the other people going through this gate, squished going through. During the dream, I also experienced trying to escape and running and jumping over high walls. And then once jump over a high wall, find it's a gate. You ever seen a movie where they're running and they jumping from building to building, building to building, you know? And so it's like that, just running. First it started where running through the maze, can't get through it, can't get out. You know, somebody always pursuing me, running, like literally, somebody always pursuing. Then it went to the point, okay, I got to get out of here. You know, this is when I start becoming more conscious of my dream. I got to get out of here. So now I'm hopping from building to building. I'm on a rooftop going, and then as I'm hopping over the building, I'm hopping over gates and high walls, and to the point that one of the last dreams I had of it, when I said enough is enough, no more. I end up sitting on top of the wall, brick wall, wore out. I'm literally tired in my dream. And oh, did I tell you I was a man? I was a man, a white guy. Check it out. And I'll tell you how I know that. But at the time, down through the years, I didn't know I was a white guy. Because I'm experiencing things through my eyes. So I can't see me. You know, I might be able to see my hands a little bit or something. But when you're being pursued, you don't really pay that kind of stuff attention. And you're dreaming. And so the last time when I told the group I was with, I said, look, we are going to get out of here this time. We've been exhausting our energy, running through this labyrinth. We don't know this town. So this time we're going over the roof. We tried it. We didn't get out. It was unendless. It was wall after wall, fence after fence, building after building. It went on and on and on. So the next time me and the group is trying to escape and say, hey, enough is enough. This is what we're going to do. Each of us just pick a direction and keep moving. And that's what we did. We picked a direction and we kept moving. And I kept moving straight. I did not veer left nor right. I just kept moving straight. Over buildings, out over gates, over fences, over barbed wire. Woof, woof, woof. It took the longest time. We made it out. We made it out. So once we made it out, we're still being pursued. And I think I made a video about that dream. I don't even know if it's still available to you. But in short, we were being pursued by some military. And now we're out on the general street. We end up climbing up in a tree, this fabulous neighborhood where the tree was like a big old tree from Peter Pan. The tree was 2-3 stories high, and we climbed up in the tree, hiding from the military. We noticed that the tree, this beautiful, fabulous, big Peter Pan tree, if we jumped out of the tree, we could jump into this open. It wasn't the patio, it was within their house, like their doors slid open and they were sitting there drinking tea, you know, just the scenery, real brief. This is a beautiful place. And so we jumped out the tree anyway. They were in pursuit of us. Those people's house we jumped into, they were also with the military, and they were pursuing us, but ended up getting out. I said I was going to tell you about portals. I told you about the portal of the gate going in to the place. I told you how I jumped. We kept jumping, chose a direction, kept jumping out. Now, how that dream ended, I'm saying in my dream, enough is enough. No more. This is ridiculous because, again, I'm 47. It kept coming back. It's not making any sense. It's not helping me in my life. So We run and run and run and make a long story short, hand reaches down and pulls. It says, here, I'm gonna help you out. I'm like, okay. So I'm telling the group this way. And the hand pulls me out. And so we pulling these other people out as well. And so it was just through this gap. We were going up this staircase. At the head of the staircase is a wall. The hand came through there and pulled us out. But check it out. Once that hand pulled us out, it also pulled us into another scene in which there was a fire hydrant. I just recently had another dream that had to do with a fire hydrant. Not too long ago. I made a video about it here, and I don't even know what it's called. Did you guess who I might have been? I kind of gave it away. I said I was a white guy. I do think I was a person that may have been during the Holocaust time. And I'm not so sure that I actually escaped the concentration camp. I may have escaped the concentration camp, but when that hand reached out, say, here, I'm gonna help you out, was at my death at that time, pulling me out and entered me into another realm. See, now I got to talk about this particular video I made to share this dream. Now, this dream was new. And this is where I talked about running and something that looked like Medea, Tyler Perry's Medea was chasing me with a blank face, but you know, that big floppy dress. And I ran and I ended up running through this archway, but I didn't know it was archway, jail. So I ran out of one dimension into the other. And when I came through, I'm like, I was in this cave, this cavern with these like ghoul figures in white linen. Couldn't see their face, body, anything, big, tall beings. And I looked over to my left and there was the same fire hydrant. In that particular realm, in that particular dream, what I was doing was going in, like Medea came through and the ghouls turned to her like, you know you ain't supposed to be in here. And Medea was like, oh, and stepped out and walked backwards. And the ghoul took me and showed me the closing down of what has been taking place in my life currently. And I also realized that that was the place in which I would enter a new contract for future life experience. That's another video. Remember, you're in Nanci's Wonderland. How did I come to know that I was a white guy in that dream? It was a moment in time. I think this is the time I told you enough is enough. I sat on top of the wall. In that moment, I got to see myself from a third party perspective. And I remember saying, hot dog, I'm a white guy. I was like, what? Okay. Just ride the wave with me. What else you got to do? Okay. Use your imagination. Are there any other dreams that I'm interested in sharing? Was there anything else? I'm sure there is, but I can't remember it right now. So let's go hang with this and talk about this particular pancake my daughter-in-law made. I shared in the video that I made, the veil is thinning, that my whole family was shocked. And how we sat around the table as this pancake morphed and told a story. It wasn't just me. It was for my children and my daughter-in-law all around the table, watching this pancake morph. And I'm turning it and, oh Lord, and I'm in disbelief, In the beginning, I described her, I said, we thought she was Mother Mary, the way it looks. Because you got to remember, she morphed. She changed ages. She went from a child, she started as a young woman and went down to a child, came back and settled into what you see here. I talked about the different entities that revealed their souls. And mind you, the pancake, I can't even say why it was cooling off, because you know how long it take a pancake to cool off, right? And I was trying to take pictures of it as it was going, and we all just blown away. I'm still blown away. But in this video, because I'm talking about past life experiences, this is one of the first times I realized about past life experience. I didn't say anything, like I said, even on the YouTube video. I said I might make another video and say what I was shown. What I was shown was this story of this young lady. See, she appears white, right? Okay. And how she was a religious crusader. Check this out. This is the storyline. Got to remember, Pancake Morphin is telling a story, pushing other beings out. She's a religious crusader, and she died very, very young at the hands of her father. Based on her appearance, costume, her father's appearance and costume, it appears that she lived during a time, or she existed during a time, and that women rights didn't exist. They weren't liberated. And what I saw in this image, as this pancake was moving and showing images of film light, that again, she was a religious crusader. She ended up being like poisoned and killed by her father. I think her father was a predominant figure in their community or world or something, in the world or something like that. And so she was a real pain in the ass for him, for lack of better words. You know, she didn't know how to be quiet. So she got put to sleep. It showed the father with like his crew or group or the other men that he worked with, and how they all conspired against her, killing her. Another thing, I can't get you to see it, but you can kind of, this is going to be a double meaning, I'll say. You got to remember, the pancake was moving and telling a story. And I'm not crazy. I had witnesses, because it was all of us sitting around. And we were just, blown away. Anyway, remember I told you this young lady was morphing. She went from a young woman to a child, because it told her story. She was a child, and this arm was holding her when she was a little girl. Another thing that this particular arm, which is going to also be, was also shown to mean something else, was holding a baby. So we had this young lady who ends up, at her death, she's holding a dial and a crucifix at the end, So it's like she was predestined to die early, that kind of thing. And she was poisoned by her father, I could say that. Bought on by, what they call it, it got thing on that's getting on my nerves. Sorry. Oh, Lord, it's there. It was that a mosquito. What the heck? Hold on, y'all. Where'd it go? Okay. Anyway. So, I was just freaking out when it happened. It's still freaky, to think about it. And this arm showed this baby. You can't really see it, but it looked like a baby here. And the little arm is holding a baby like this. And I can't remember, but when it emerged, as it told the story, it showed this phantom like spirit leaning out to like take the child or do something. You can tell that the baby immediately was under attack. Baby dies, like in the crate. Then it was this other entity. And this was the entity that made me understand it was talking about me. I was like, oh my. It was this entity that looked like, imagine, it was this movie. I can't remember this movie. What was, and the man got stung by bees, a bunch of bees, and he blew up. He had lump, 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 lump. Or maybe you seen not Martin Lawrence. What was him? Yeah, Martin Lawrence's. I don't remember what the name of his program was or is. I don't even know if it's on, but it was Martin Lawrence, and he went in the ring with Sugar Ray Leonard. That's what I think. And Sugar Ray Leonard beat him to, smithereens. And he came out, comedy show. He came out lumped up. He was lumped up every here like 4-5 times the size. So this being that revealed itself here was this being, and it would look like that. And so when I'm watching this is real time. This is not a dream, y'all. So just ride away with me. So I'm looking at this being introduce itself. And this being was in fear. It was in like fear, like this worried fear state. But it was like that. It was like it didn't have the definition like we have as human beings. I'm looking over here at the camera. It didn't have the definition like we have as human beings. It was some type of other being or entity. And it had this like bubbly kind of foamy, cloudy kind of shape to it. And these eyes that just looked scared. And it had all of these other beings attacking it. And when I looked at the being, guess what, y'all? I could see me. I was like, that look, this thing, I was like, oh. So I was like, oh. I remember sitting here and I was like, oh no. I said, can't be me. To myself. I didn't say that to the kids. I was like ready to faint. That's all I know. But that being too did perish. And the last thing, it was quite a bit. Like I said, the story went on. We sat around this pancake for at least an hour, I know. We stared at it before sitting with it. I know about 20, 25 minutes because we were just in it. You would have to see it to believe it. So, and this last thing I told you would double. Oh, well, yeah, okay, I'll say that. This last thing that I told you would double. You can't see it, but just kind of, follow me here. This here introduced itself as a dress. And these were wings. And in here was this little face, little black face, little girl, little angel girl, little black angel girl, with 2 little hair tassels, braided tassels here, showing during the course of the story she would be born or reincarnated next. I was like, oh, that was me. Whole thing, it let me know that it was me. It was showing me other past lives. Believe it or not, I'm just sharing. Going down the rabbit hole. You're going down Nancy's rabbit hole. Not Alice's, Nancy's. So I shared this pancake because now I shared some of the dreams I have, the primary reoccurring dreams, in which I finally was able to see myself in some of them. I share what has happened recently and come to see the past lives. This pancake revealed actively, like a movie, like a film, the past lives that I lived. And it let me know who I was. The last thing I wanted to say about this pancake was that whenever I take pictures with my phone, I always change the exposures. And changing the exposures, it was revealed I didn't print it out because such a lot of ink gets used. But on the video I'm talking about where the veil is thinning, it shows that there's also a demon. Well, there were demons on the face of here without changing the exposure. A lot of demons and stuff that were, again, affiliated with the demise of myself and past vessels. But there was also this one major dragon type demon that existed upon changing the exposures. You can check that video out if you want. If you just want to slide up and down, it has the pictures. I no longer can provide those while making a video. No more video editor. So, and how am I going to end this video? I was going to talk about one of the dreams I had recently. The one where Medea, that Medea figure, was chasing me and chased me into a whole nother realm. I go through like this plasma or something. You wouldn't even imagine that it was there. Wouldn't even imagine it was there. Just went through plasma, out of the scene, turned around, looked back from where I came, and I could see others, other people in life, just moving about, having their lives, and seeing the mechanisms or spirits that followed them. And how you may be inflicted or have troubles, or I had luck. So I could see the people and the entities that were influencing them in this dream. I told you Medea comes through the plasma. The ghouls look at him. The ghoul looks at her, and and she backs up. I talk about the fire extinguisher to the left. I talk about the experience. The ghouls never spoke. They was more telepathic than anything was telepathic. I talked about the ghouls that were off in the distance, back down in all the caves and the cavern. It was a salt mine cavern, and that old aged white or ivory color, and how they were dressed in cloaks like linen, in which you couldn't see their body. And in the distance, I could see like market booths and people standing there, some single people, some couple people, and they were like negotiating. You could tell they were negotiating. They were like, yeah. And so now I was there, and I was being shown the closing of current life experiences, and obviously being offered the next life experience contract. So, what am I saying? What I'm saying is that I remember past life experiences, the dreams revealed through pancakes, and and that it is possible, from what I'm seeing, that we are endless beings, endless energy, merely being transformed from one state to the other. And that we do have some input or influence into what we end up experiencing as a life. I also made a video recently. Not many of you watched it. Please watch it. It's silly, but yet it's serious. And it's called the Jinky Genie. And it's about how whatever you ask for, you get. But the catch in that video was showing that you get what you ask for, but not the way you ask for it. Anyway, I was just inviting you to go down my rabbit hole. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. Until next time. Bye. Let's see if I can turn this off.